Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. So this is an interesting one. I honestly don't know how I'm going to rate this. I still don't. I'm just going to talk, and whatever the fuck comes out, comes out. So I had plans to go to another show tonight, last night, and I knew that show was an early show. It was going to be over at 8:30, so we're looking for something else to do after the show, and I saw that Papa Roach was playing in town with Rise Against, and what was the other band? Under Oath is the one that opened, opener of the opener. All right, so here's my take on Papa Roach. So I looked at the ticket prices; they were great. $60 for great seats, like great. We were in section 109, like first or second row, aisle seats. I got them direct from Ticketmaster. They were 60. I mean, the whole show was like 140 with the fees. You're not going to find a better bargain for a show in Vegas. So it made sense. So we ended up deciding to go. I had a feeling we were going to get there in the middle of Rise Against. I didn't care that much because I don't really know Rise Against the music. I only know their kind of big radio hits, and those were at the end anyway. So we ended up missing Rise Against. So I can't honestly review that part of the show. But we did get there before Papa Roach, which is fine. So here's the thing. I knew going in. And I think a lot of people probably feel this way, and this is why it makes it very hard to rate this show. I'm 49 years old now. When Last Resort came out, I was in my 20s. I was living in New York. It was that real important time in my life. And I honestly, to this day, think that's one of the greatest songs ever written. I don't know what it is. It's never gotten old. It's an important song. It's a powerful song. It mixes rap, more rock than rap, but it has fuses a lot of music together, a lot of that nu metal sound. It's just one of those songs that hit right at the right time, and it hasn't stopped hitting since. I think it's a good way to put it. They have had other songs like Scars and stuff that were semi hits, but Last Resort is one of those generational songs, in my opinion. I think they know that. I think everybody knows that. But I don't know why. There was just a lot of like nu metal bands at that time, so I never really got into them. And I'm not gonna lie and say I love them. I just can't lie and say I went to listen to all their music. But I've heard great things. I've heard they're a great live band. I heard you got to see them live, and I had no problem. So it worked out last night. So that's why I went to say it. So I said, cool. It's their job now to win me over. That's usually how I feel when I go into concerts that I only know the big hits. But either way, in my head, if I heard Scars and I heard Last Resort and it met my expectations, then I'd be very happy, big success on the night. Let's put it that way. So out of the gate, they started, no doubt, they got great energy, and the crowd loved them. The crowd was packed. It was pretty packed. It wasn't full packed, but it was pretty packed. They closed off the top section, which is a little trick some of these bands do to play arenas. But that aside, this is why it's hard to review. There's how I feel, and there's how I look around a lot during these shows, and I look at the crowd, and they were in heaven. And everybody in my section, and as far as I can see, pretty much were singing every word to every song. And you could see the connection, and this is where you see how important music is, that certain bands really, really touch people. And I think Papa Roach is one of those bands that got people through a hard time. And I really respect them for what they've done for Suicide, and how, I think his name's Jacoby is the lead singer. Seems like a good-hearted dude with good intentions. Like, they're not just here to have a rock and roll band to get laid. Maybe they were back in the day, but I think he saw quickly, and I could be wrong, saw quickly how many lives he affected, and it kind of guided him for the rest of his life. So impressed with that. I was impressed with their stage presence. I thought it was good, but I really didn't know any songs. And then 4 or 5 or 6 songs in, I really started to feel that a lot of this kind of sounds the same. My opinion. A lot of these songs sounded the same. Don't take away from it. Let me go through the set list, and I'll tell you kind of a couple problems I had with this. Even If It Kills Me, Blood Brothers, Dead Cell, Broken Home with Eminem's Lose Yourself opening, like kind of the intro was he did Lose Yourself. To Be Loved, Kill the Noise, Getting Away with Murder. He did a cover, not really a cover, a little bit of California Love. Liar, I remember that song. I actually like that song a lot. He did Forever, and then he closed it out with Linkin Park's In the End, which is great. Falling Apart, Scars, which I think is a great song. No Apologies, did a solo. Then he did Help, and then Born for Greatness. That's the first part of the show. So, going through this now, I do kind of remember some of these songs. The fact that I remember them is a good sign. So they did sound the same to me, but they were good. I love good rock and roll, and it was good rock and roll. They're a really pure rock band. I like that. This is where it got a little interesting for me. So, I started with the Encore. They did this great suicide prevention message up on the screen, which is, like I said, I really tip my hat to him for what he's doing for that. It's really special. And then he sang this song, which I think is a fairly new song. I could be wrong. And he brought out Carrie Underwood. So I didn't know he did a song with Carrie Underwood. She's obviously in Vegas for her residency. And I want to say this about Carrie Underwood because it's I'm going to bring it up in a little bit. I really like Carrie Underwood. I don't know how. I don't know why. I just do. I've been to her show many times because it's super cheap, and I've gotten free tickets many times. And I always go to it, and I'm always so impressed with her. She is down to earth. She's so talented. She's gorgeous. She really checks every box. I'm a fan of hers. I don't think she's cheesy. I think her songs are deep, and she just gives it everything. Every time I've seen her live, she's given it everything. So I'm a fan of her. So when she came out, I was like, oh, this is cool. And they sang this song, Leave a Light On, Talk Away the Dark, which is obviously, again, about suicide, I believe. And it was great. I mean, it's a great song. It doesn't sound like a Papa Roach song. I don't know how their fans feel about it. But I think because the message is good, they get a little slack. It's a positive song helping a lot of people. Again, I think the way Last Resort did. And so I think people give them slack. But it doesn't sound like a song to me, that would come out of Papa Roach. But who cares? It's great music and awesome. Good stuff. Then they kept going with the Encore, Between Angels and Infest. Then he did this awesome medley from that new metal age. And, again, big fan of this guy. He went into the crowd, went all the way to the back of the arena, went all the way up to the top, to the literally last row of the arena while he was doing this little medley, did a circle around the whole arena, high-fiving fans, taking pictures. It's impressive. Physically, it's impressive. He did it while he was singing, and just, I don't know. It really shows you the kind of band they are. They really care about their fans. It really, I like that. So they did Blind, My Own Summer, Shove It, Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, and Chop Suey. Then this is what I was waiting for. Last Resort, like I said, to me was an important song personally. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but it's a song that I literally paid money to just come hear that song in its glory, to see it do it live once in my life. And right before he started, he goes, "Hey, Carrie Underwood, you want to come out and do this with me one more time?" And I'm like, "No, please don't do that." And she came out. And again, I love Carrie Underwood. But I came to hear Last Resort by Papa Roach. And I want to hear it in all its rawness and all its thickness and all its heaviness and everything that it just shoves in your face and slaps you across the face. But I got a Carrie Underwood Papa Roach version of it. And it wasn't, I mean, it was just lighter. Just her voice it's a heavy song and her voice is country. A light country, high-pitched country. So it took away from it. Still a great song. It still was good, but it wasn't. But I was so excited to hear that song in its original form that I feel like I got shafted. Not his fault. The guy sings the song every damn night. People hear it all the time. He had her there. She's clearly a fan. She knew every word. You could tell she was a fan too. But it felt like it took away from me. So I don't know what to rate this show because it's. I know for fans it was incredible. For me, it was good. It was a good show. I'm going to give it an 8.1. 8.1 out of 10 I think is fair. I think if I got that real version of Last Resort, it would have probably bumped it a couple points. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have a lot to say because there's not much to say. I didn't feel like I connected with the band at all through the whole night, which I don't like doing, but it's the truth. I didn't know the songs and the hits, So, all right, I think that's it. I don't know what else to say. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. I'm sure I'm going to get some pretty bad comments back from the fans. I mean, but they are a great band, and I do respect everything they're doing, and I'm glad I got to see them. Thanks for listening. I'll see you at the next show. Bye-bye.